Do you like apples? Not only do I recommend to grow as much as food as you can, as often as you can, and as long as you can, but also to make healthy recipes that will build your health. Hi, I'm Annette and welcome to Kitchen Garden Farmhouse. Today we're going to be making a delicious, easy apple galette. Let's get started. If you like apples, perhaps you will love this recipe. A galette is a flat, round, free-form crust or cake that's filled in the middle with something sweet or something savory with the edges folded over. This apple galette recipe I will be making today contains no refined sugars. I will be using just a little bit of maple syrup and a little bit of coconut sugar. You're welcome to use whatever sweetener you would like. Also, for the crust, I'm going to be using a grain-free crust today. It will contain almond flour and just a little bit of coconut flour. Once again, this galette could be made with any type of grain that you would like to make it with. First, we're going to make the crust. The ingredients for the crust is 2½ cups of almond flour, a 1/4 cup of coconut flour, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 4 eggs beaten, 2 tablespoons of melted ghee. Mix the almond flour, coconut flour, salt, eggs, and your ghee in a bowl, and we're going to stir this just enough until it all comes together. I'm going to divide the dough into half. I'm just going to pat it out into small circles. Now you can leave this dough into one whole piece if you like. And afterwards, I'm just going to wrap it up in some plastic wrap, and it's going to go into the refrigerator to chill at least 30 minutes or longer. Now we're going to make the compote. Next is the ingredients for the compote. 4 to 5 apples diced up, a 1/4 cup of coconut sugar, a 1/4 cup of orange juice, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, about a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, and about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I'm going to put everything in a medium-sized saucepan cooked over medium heat. The apples, coconut sugar, orange juice, lemon juice, nutmeg. I will be adding the sea salt and vanilla extract later. I'm going to thicken up the compote a little bit with some non-GMO cornstarch. I'm using 1 teaspoon of cornstarch with a little bit of water. I'm just going to barely stir it up. Now I'm just going to add this to my compote mixture. It is smelling so good with the nutmeg and the cinnamon. It is really smelling good. Now here you can see that mine is not too thick. It's nice and juicy. You can make it thicker if you like. Just add more cornstarch. I'm adding the vanilla extract and the sea salt. Now it's time to make the filling for the apple galette. Depending on their size, 4 to 5 apples, 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 2 teaspoons of lemon juice, 1 tablespoon of coconut oil, a 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, and a 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of sea salt. As I'm preparing my apples, I'm just putting them in a bowl of water. This is going to help them not to oxidize and turn brown. This is about the size of the apples, how I am slicing them. I want them to be a little bit on the thick side because as I arrange them, I want to be able to pick them up and place them there on the crust without falling apart. Now I'm going to add all the ingredients to a medium saucepan for the filling, and I'm just going to allow this to simmer gently for about 10 minutes until they're just barely tender but not mushy. I'm just going to cover this with the lid while it's simmering. The juice on this is going to be thinner than the compote. It's okay. I'm now adding the vanilla extract and the sea salt. These apples are just right. They're tender, but they're not falling apart. The dough has been chilling in the refrigerator, and now it's time to get it rolled out. This apple galette is going to be in the form of a circle. So I'm placing this saucer down to give me an outline of where to put my filling in the middle. And as I'm lifting the saucer up off the crust, now I can see a really nice circle to work with. Here's the apple compote. It is ready to put down on the crust. And I'm just going to spoon this out on a thin layer all on the inside of this circle here. So I've got the compote down on the crust. Now it's time to add the apples on top. Now you could just pile all the apples on top here, it's fine. But if you want to make a nice presentation with your apple galette, you just have to layer them in a beautiful form. I'm just going to form a circle around the edges. I start with this and just go all the way around making this circle. From there, I'm just going to kind of overlay the apples on top of each other, and I'm going to continue this all the way around, just layering it one on another until I have the whole crust on top of the compote filled with apples. Now I have all the apples laid out. They look very pretty, kind of reminds me of a rosette. I'm just going to sprinkle some more cinnamon here on top. You can sprinkle as much or as little as you desire. We are almost done. It is time to fold the edges over on its side. Now, because I have this on parchment paper and this almond crust has ghee in it, that's Ghee, it's very easy for it to separate off the parchment paper. And I'm just going to use this parchment paper as a leverage and just lift it up little by little all the way around until I have it completed on the other side. Also, I'm going to be baking this apple galette on top of this parchment paper. As a final touch, I'm going to do egg wash on the edges here. I just took one egg, beat it up, and I'm just going to lightly just brush it along the sides. I'm going to take some of the juice from these apples and I'm just going to drizzle it right here on the middle. You can do as much or as little as you want. Remember, I divided my dough into two parts. I'm not going to go over the whole process again, but I want to show you on the second time, I'm going to lay parchment paper on top and roll the dough out that way, and I think it's a little bit easier. And you can see how easy it peels off with no problem. And once again, this crust is going to be baked on the bottom sheet of parchment paper. The apple galettes are finished. They look absolutely amazing. They baked at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 35 minutes. Here's one slice. The crust is thin. Remember, it has no leaven in it. And once again, you can make this crust out of any type of pie crust or grains that you so desire. If you would like to see more videos from Kitchen Garden Farmhouse, please take a moment to subscribe if you have not done so already. And every time you leave a like, a comment, and share the video with others, you take a part in helping the channel to grow. Thank you, and I will see you in the next video.